Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Stellantis, who are the owners of Vauxhall Motors, as well as Nissan and others, all the car makers in fact, have spoken to the government. They've had deep conversations, deep worrying conversations, because they're very concerned about their market, about their continued existence as car makers in Britain. And the reason is, of course, electric vehicles, but it's not necessarily what you're thinking. For you see, electric vehicles are problematic. Now, first of all, there's the actual cars themselves. They're rather nasty in their making and manufacture because of all the stuff that goes into their batteries, and you see these vast sort of chemical wastelands that are left behind where they're being processed, especially in Africa, for example. Secondly, it's all funding money to China, but mostly funding money to China, because China's gone into Africa and bought up all these rare earth minerals that we need. So it's all there, and China are making a fortune off these electric vehicles. There's also the fact that they themselves are physically very, very heavy. They cause damage to roads, damage to multi-storey car parks. Some countries actually ban electric vehicles from multi-storey car parks. There's a perceived fire risk. And again, some countries have banned electric vehicles from underground car parks for exactly that. So there are physical problems. There are environmental problems. And yes, you could argue, yes, but they're cleaner. Well, not if the electricity you're putting in is being powered by a gas or coal-fired power station, for example, or predominantly around the world, coal. It's one of those things, isn't it? So that is the physical problems with it. However, for the car makers themselves, there's another more difficult problem, and that's financial. And it comes in two parts. Firstly, people are wising up to the fact that the depreciation on these cars is so immense that you lose so much money so very quickly that they're not actually prepared to throw that money away. You buy a brand new car, sure, normal car, yeah, you're going to lose thousands the moment you take it out of the showroom, maybe 10% of its value on purchase. However, an electric car loses about 35% on purchase, and after a year, a used car, a brand new car, is probably worth about 75%. An electric car is only worth about 20%. Honestly, go on and buy a 5-year-old Nissan Leaf. You're practically paying them. They're practically paying you, rather, to take it away. It's not that far off. Giving it away. One of the other problems, though, is the ratio. Now, the ratio is the amount of electric cars manufacturers must sell in comparison with internal combustion engines. It's the electricity to ICE ratio. And at the moment, it's about 17%, thereabouts. Might be up or down. It changes, but it's growing. Which means if a company doesn't sell 17% of its vehicles as being electric or hybrid, then they can't sell any more internal combustion engine cars. Well, they can sell them. However, they come at a price. The price is a fine. And it's £12,000 per car. So if you sell, say, 5 cars too many, you've got to find £60,000. Some of the cars they're selling, especially the smaller, cheaper internal combustion engines, don't even cost £12,000. They're making an absolute loss on every car they sell. And that's what's making them unhappy. Firstly, they want the fine eradicated. And secondly, they want a lot of assistance with the electrics because nobody is buying them. They want the date when all cars have to be electric to be pushed back. They're saying they can't hit the targets. They literally cannot hit the targets. And so the threat is, unless the government helps them, unless the government pushes those targets back, unless the government is prepared to put its money where its mouth is, they are going to pull out and leave this country. And Britain will have no car manufacturing for the first time ever since the car was invented almost. And that is because of the insanity of people like Ed Miliband. And here's the thing. it will actually do not a jot of difference if every car was electric in this country. Britain's too small. Britain is absolutely too small. If every car was made electric, firstly, you'd have to find generating capacity that we simply don't have. 36 nuclear power stations, it's been reckoned. Secondly, you'd need to upgrade the national grid at a cost of maybe 100 billion. Today's prices, by the time you've done, $250 billion. This is Britain after all. And then what have you got? Hey, great, we've got lots of power. We've got a good system of moving it. How much have we got in terms of charge points? Oh, God, we're putting billions of pounds worth of charge points. Billions of pounds here, billions in there. Boom, 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 boom. Another 10 billion in charge points. Great, you've geared up the whole country. And what happens? Well, nobody can afford to buy electric cars because they're 3 times the price. The moment you buy them, they're worthless. So anyone who does buy them just watches their money evaporate. And it's just pointless. You're losing billions, evaporating into the air in a puff of depreciation. It will damage the national wealth. Literally overnight, the wealth of this country will evaporate. It will have gone because you're not buying any assets. You're buying a depreciating asset. Billions upon billions of pounds, gone. It is stupidity beyond measure. Anyone who's got a basic grip of economics can see this. Now, what to do? Well, okay, let's say these idiots go ahead and spend $500 billion by the time you're done. Oh, look, we've got the capacity all over the country for all these electric cars that nobody's running because they're all rubbish. Meanwhile, Toyota are saying, oh, look, we've got this new engine that runs here and it's very, very clean. It's on a kind of biodiesel that is almost entirely burn-free, blah, 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 which is the engine they're currently working on. And it's been deemed as the cleanest engine in the world. It's good old-fashioned mechanical technology, ones that we can all understand. It takes minutes to fill the tank. Off you go. So there you go. You spent £500 billion on all this infrastructure, and then you go and buy yourself a nice, clean Toyota. How's that working out? What are you going to do with all these charge points? Dig them up? Turn them into petrol stations? If I was half as bright as Ed Miliband, I'd be a sponge. Unbelievably stupid policy. And we're about to lose a major industry that employs tens of thousands. Probably when you look at the supply line, hundreds of thousands of people. And for what? So Miliband can have a little masturbatory glance. Oh, it's so good, he says, spunking himself and going, oh, I've destroyed everything. No car making. No car making in this country at all. We'll have to buy all those cheap cars from China. Make them even richer. These people are traitors, aren't they? Let me know what you think. Thanks a lot. Bye.